naenda kuwa before just for security purposes, opportunity. At this moment,
National assets include an aircraft for area policing, motorcycles for rapid response, patrol trucks, tear gas trucks, and other public order management equipment.
Defense Forces amaje agegwanga Uganda mukasera ketugenda mwako okulonda ejere gwanga yongedde okukakasa n'okugumya banna Uganda bonna tiwabera wakukanga tiwabera wakutisha security eri banenjagala wekkanye security eri gulugulu wano labe bikola labe mundu labe ebyasi egwanga mukasera kano ketulimu linywevu security eri gulugulu gano ge maje ga Uganda basoka ne basimbira bayina ebikosebwe bya buli ngeri laba betesitese okukuma Uganda okukuma bana Uganda n'ebintu byabwe.
The DRC and Equatorial Guinea registered a 4.1% decrease in volume of crime from 74 cases reported in 2023 to 715 cases in 2024, and a subsequent decline in crime rate from 516 to 476 per 1,000 persons. Commenced mass enrollment of Ugandans on 17th May 2025 to acquire national identity cards with it.
Uganda's foreign policy has entered a decisive phase marked by diversification, recalibration, and a deliberate effort to strengthen autonomy in both security and trade. This shift has not emerged from confrontation or sudden rupture with traditional partners, but from a long assessment of national interests in a world that is increasingly multipolar. For decades, Uganda maintained close cooperation with the United States and Western institutions, particularly in areas of counterterrorism, regional peacekeeping, development assistance, and military training. These relationships played a role in stabilizing parts of the region and enhancing Uganda's institutional capacity. However, global dynamics have evolved, and Uganda's leadership has increasingly concluded that long-term stability and growth require broader partnerships and reduced exposure to external political oversight. The regional environment surrounding Uganda has grown more complex, with security threats, economic competition, and shifting alliances reshaping East Africa. Uganda's role in regional security operations, including peace support missions and counterinsurgency efforts, has positioned it as a critical actor whose cooperation is sought by multiple global powers. Rather than relying on a single dominant partner, Uganda has pursued a strategy of balance. This approach allows Kampala to engage widely while retaining control over its internal decision-making processes. The objective has been clear: partnership without dependency, cooperation without conditional political leverage, and security collaboration that respects national command structures. In recent years, Uganda has expanded security coordination with neighboring states and African regional frameworks, strengthening intelligence sharing, border management, and joint operations aimed at addressing transnational threats. These efforts have reduced the need for direct external oversight while increasing African-led solutions to African security challenges. Uganda's defense diplomacy has also broadened beyond traditional Western channels, focusing on professional training exchanges, logistics cooperation, and defense modernization discussions with partners across the global south. This diversification has enhanced Uganda's flexibility and reduced vulnerability to policy shifts originating outside the continent. Trade policy has followed a similar trajectory. Uganda's economy, historically shaped by export reliance on a limited number of markets and commodities, has been undergoing gradual restructuring. Agricultural exports remain central, but there has been a deliberate move toward value addition, regional supply chains, and industrial processing. Uganda has invested in agro-processing zones, manufacturing capacity, and energy infrastructure to support domestic production. These efforts are designed to reduce exposure to external trade shocks and to strengthen bargaining power in international markets. Intra-African trade has become a cornerstone of this strategy. The expansion of regional trade corridors, improved customs coordination, and harmonized standards within East Africa have opened new opportunities for Ugandan producers. By prioritizing regional markets, Uganda has reduced over-reliance on distant economies where policy decisions can abruptly alter access conditions. This shift aligns with broader continental initiatives aimed at strengthening African economic integration and enhancing resilience against global volatility. Uganda's engagement with non-Western economies has also intensified. Trade and investment ties with Asia, the Middle East, and emerging markets have expanded across infrastructure, energy, manufacturing, and technology sectors. These relationships are structured around commercial interests and long-term development goals rather than short-term political alignment. For Uganda, this has meant access to financing options, technology transfer, and alternative markets that complement existing partnerships rather than replace them outright. Importantly, Uganda's approach does not represent a rejection of cooperation with the United States. Diplomatic engagement, development collaboration, and security dialogue continue where interests align. What has changed is the framework within which this cooperation operates. Uganda has increasingly emphasized mutual respect, policy independence, and the right to pursue national priorities without excessive external influence. This recalibration reflects a broader recognition that sustainable partnerships require parity rather than hierarchy. The evolution of Uganda's foreign policy mirrors wider trends across Africa, where governments are asserting greater agency in global affairs. African states are no longer content to operate within rigid geopolitical binaries. Instead, they are navigating a complex environment in which multiple powers seek engagement. Uganda's experience demonstrates how a mid-sized African country can leverage its strategic position, regional influence, and economic potential to negotiate from a position of confidence. Regional leadership has been a key component of Uganda's strategy. Its central location within East Africa, combined with investments in transport and energy infrastructure, has enhanced its role as a logistical and commercial hub. Cross-border projects have strengthened connectivity, while diplomatic initiatives have reinforced Uganda's standing as a stabilizing force in the region. This regional anchoring amplifies Uganda's voice in international forums and increases its relevance to global partners. Security cooperation has also benefited from this regional emphasis. By prioritizing coordination with neighboring states and African institutions, Uganda has contributed to a security architecture that is less dependent on external direction. This approach aligns with continental efforts to strengthen African peace and security mechanisms and reduce reliance on non-African interventions. Uganda's experience in peace operations and counterterrorism has informed these efforts, positioning it as both a contributor and a beneficiary of regional stability. The shift beyond U.S. oversight should be understood within this broader context. Uganda is not disengaging from the international system but repositioning itself within it. The goal is to ensure that external partnerships support national development rather than constrain it. By broadening its diplomatic and economic options, Uganda has increased its resilience against external pressure and enhanced its capacity to pursue independent policy choices. For global powers, Uganda's strategy signals a changing relationship dynamic. Influence is no longer automatic. It must be earned through respect, consistency, and alignment with African priorities. This recalibration challenges traditional assumptions but also opens the door to more balanced and durable partnerships. Uganda's case illustrates that African countries are capable of shaping their own trajectories while remaining active participants in global affairs. Economic indicators suggest that this strategy is yielding tangible benefits. Diversified trade relationships, increased regional commerce, and expanded investment inflows have strengthened Uganda's economic base. While challenges remain, particularly in managing debt, infrastructure demands, and population growth, the overall direction reflects a deliberate effort to build long-term resilience. Uganda's leadership has framed this approach as a pragmatic response to global uncertainty rather than an ideological shift. In a world marked by strategic competition, supply chain disruptions, and geopolitical volatility, diversification is viewed as a necessity. By engaging multiple partners and strengthening regional ties, Uganda reduces exposure to external shocks and preserves policy flexibility. The broader implication is that Uganda's experience may serve as a reference point for other African states navigating similar choices. The emphasis on sovereignty, balance, and strategic autonomy resonates across the continent. As African economies grow and diversify, the demand for equitable partnerships is likely to intensify. Uganda's evolving security and trade alliances reflect a quiet but consequential transformation. There are no dramatic announcements or abrupt ruptures, but the cumulative effect is significant. Decision-making authority has shifted inward, regional cooperation has deepened, and external engagement has become more selective. This transformation underscores a central reality of contemporary geopolitics. Africa is no longer a peripheral arena shaped solely by external forces, but an active participant shaping outcomes. In asserting greater control over its partnerships, Uganda is positioning itself for a future defined by agency rather than alignment. The strategy recognizes that national strength is built through diversified relationships, regional solidarity, and confidence in domestic institutions. As global power continues to redistribute, Uganda's approach offers a model of how African states can navigate change while safeguarding sovereignty. The trajectory is still unfolding, but the direction is clear. Uganda is building a foreign policy that reflects its interests, capabilities, and ambitions. By moving beyond exclusive oversight and embracing a multipolar engagement strategy, the country has reinforced its role as a serious regional actor and a sovereign participant in the global system.
You've been watching Echoes of Africa, where every story carries the sound of tomorrow. If this moved you, subscribe now, like, and share so Africa's voice never fades into silence.